Hi, this is Melanie at Pardesi Reviews, and I'm here to do a review of the Hindi documentary, The Romantics. If you're new to Pardesi Reviews, I do trailer reactions and film reviews of Indian cinema. So this came out, I think, Valentine's Day, but I finally watched all 4 episodes of the Netflix documentary, The Romantics, which covers basically the history of YRF Studios. So it's absolutely amazing. It was, I don't know what I was expecting, but I thought, I know a little bit about the history, and I've seen quite a few of the YRF films, but still, to have it all laid out in a documentary and to say this film came as a response to this film, and just the history of, I learned so much watching this. So this 4-part series, documentary series, is directed by Smriti Mundra, and it was co-written by Smriti and Michael Volman. Amazing. So Smriti Mundra is known for directing Indian Matchmaking, and she was executive producer of that as well. So I think she came to Aditya Chopra and YRF Studios and suggested the idea for this documentary. And Aditya Chopra was like, great, here's the access to all the archives, do whatever you would like. But did not agree to speak on camera initially. And the amazing thing about this documentary is that Aditya Chopra, owner of YRF Studios, has not done even a print interview, I don't think, for like 30 years. Like, incredibly. I mean, she has a whole... So the second episode is my favorite, because not only did they talk about DDLJ, which is the film that started my love for Indian cinema, but they have all... She's interviewed, I think, for this, I don't know, at least 35 film stars. And one after another, she has them reacting to the fact that she got an interview with Aditya Chopra. And they're like, what? What? One after another, people are amazed. And she does set up how, because he has been reclusive. He purposely didn't want his face shown so that he could go first day, first show every Friday to see a movie in the theaters with audiences, and to see how audiences are reacting to not only his own films, but all the other films being released. And it is truly momentous that I thought, okay, she's just going to get a little bit of him talking about DDLJ. No. 3 of the 4 episodes is extensive interviews with Aditya Chopra. So no matter what else you say about this, it's just amazing to hear the man in his own words explain his thinking about all of his films, his career, where he wants to go next with YRF Studios. Unbelievable. I enjoyed all of it, but like I said, the second episode was my favorite, where they really showed so much behind-the-scenes footage of the making of DDLJ. That was incredible. And then just setting up, talking about Aditya Chopra, I was amazed. They had Hrithik Roshan was one of the interviewees, the stars, and he talks about how when they were growing up as children, that they would have dance competitions, and Aditya was the one that always won over Hrithik. I'm like, okay, mind blown. And also Abhishek talking about growing up and, how he was buddies with Uday, and they would argue over who got, they grew up on the film sets of Duar and everything, and they have how even Abhishek, as the son of Amitabh, looked up to his characters as heroes, and he and Uday would play games together, and they would fight over who got to be Amitabh's part, But he just said, here we were growing up, but Aditya was like the leader, the tyrant of all the children. So they set it up, and then just like I said, to be able to hear the man in his own words. The third episode talks a lot about nepotism, and Aditya does talk about what he owes his father for giving him this studio, giving him all these opportunities. But he also said, if nepotism was the only rule, and I couldn't believe he said this, he's like, my brother Uday is not a very successful actor. We tried. That's one of the most memorable lines for me of the entire series. And Uday is also interviewed quite a bit. Not, talking about his father. He's one of the executive producers, by the way, of this documentary. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I knew some about Yash Chopra, but it was the very first episode really talks about Yash Chopra's career and his rise and the successes he had that led to be able to form YRF, form Raj, and then after the success of DDLJ, Uday kind of gestures around like we were able to live a different lifestyle after that moment. It was interesting just seeing all of these actors and actresses also just as fans of the films and talking about the films in their childhood that had impacted them, and how Yash Chopra film had this connotation of being a romantic film, and Shah Rukh saying how he went with his family to some of these films, but was just like, why can't Amitabh just always beat up people? Like, even he as a young fan just had this, like, he wanted to see Amitabh only in a certain way. It's also super special because this film series documentary interview with Rishi Kapoor was one of the last ones of his life. It was just a few months before he passed away. And yeah, so that makes it really special too. Just seeing his commentary on the films that he was a part of and his relationship with Yash Chopra and everything. So really special. The timing of certain films, it was interesting to me, like, because I've seen the films not in order that they were made, right? Like I've gone back and seen classic films as I tried to, fill in my knowledge of Hindi film industry. But even so, there was films, like I still haven't seen Walked. And I think I own it on DVD, but I picked it up somewhere, but I haven't watched it yet. So just realizing classic films that I need to see, but just interesting how, I've seen Lamhe, but I didn't realize that Dar was the film that immediately came after Lamhe because Lamhe was such a flop. Then they made this more commercial film, Dar, just also. Yeah, well, we know the story about Dar and Shah Rukh kind of taking over the film. There's certain omissions. People have talked about the fact that they don't really discuss Veer Zara that much in the film. I mean, they show some scenes from it, but they don't. They talk more in depth about certain films. I also think it's kind of strange that the only person from the diaspora, Lily Singh, is the only person that they talk to about her reactions to growing up watching Bollywood films, Hindi films in America. Not that she wasn't animated and fun. I just was kind of like, that she was the only one that they talked to was a little bit odd. Absolutely must see, especially if you're a fan of Yash Chopra films. For instance, I don't know, I'd seen pictures of Pam Chopra, but I'm not sure that I've ever seen an interview with her. I was so struck about how Uday looks so much like his mother, but her influence on the films of Yash Chopra, her influence on the music of the films, there was so much that I didn't realize how much she had contributed, and so it was fascinating learning about that. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just binged all the way through episode 1 through 4 all at once. I think altogether I think each episode is about 45 minutes, so it's 3 hours total for the entire thing, and well worth a watch. I would love to know, I have so many viewers who have such an extensive knowledge and history of Hindi films. Were there surprises for you in watching this documentary? If you've seen it, what did you learn that you didn't know before? What was your favorite part? As I said, for me, it was the second episode. Just hearing for the first time from Aditya Chopra and about his filmmaking of DDLJ and about his filmmaking process of DDLJ, and seeing all the behind the scenes footage from that making of that I had never seen before. That was my favorite part. But I loved the whole thing, and I just especially loved hearing from Aditya Chopra throughout the rest of the documentary and his thoughts on the industry. It was fascinating. All right, let me know what you thought about this documentary, The Romantics. in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter at PardesiYT. Follow me on Instagram at Pardesi Reviews. And if you hit the bell here when you subscribe, you'll never miss another trailer reaction or film review.